Well, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to Kitchen Table TCG. My name is Louie. Thank you so much for clicking on the video and for being here. Today, we're going to discuss and talk about eBay and a little bit of my personal attitude towards business. We're going to talk about you. We're going to talk about me. We're going to talk about all of the things in order to chat about. This is a pile of things that I've been lazy and I need to list on eBay, and that is my goal for this week, is to get all this stuff listed on eBay. I'm going to tell you why eBay and what is going on. Number one, this is going to be kind of a businessy conversation, so I don't know if you want to hear more about this stuff, but the number one point I want to make here is looking in my life and in my business, it's been important to remember that I am not Rudy. I have to remind myself, you're not Rudy. You can't just sit on all of this stuff. And if you are a business owner or a card collector or whatever, you need to remember that the YouTube bubble is real. And just because somebody can do that and sit on all the product in the world and sit on all the cards, doesn't mean that you can do that. Doesn't mean that you can afford to do it or that your business can afford to do it. So this is something I remind myself constantly. You're not Rudy. Your business is not Rudy. You have to do things different. Cash flow is a huge thing. By the way, this eBay authenticity stuff is a huge game changer. If you have not used eBay as a result of getting scammed, this is actually like a huge saver for sellers. Because it basically mitigates the opportunity for a buyer to scam you in a lot of ways. So it's really cool. So again, you're not Rudy. Number one, cash flow. For me, eBay is an opportunity to increase my cash flow. And cash flow means that then I inevitably have more purchasing power on the other end of that cash, right? If there's a new Magic set coming out, or if I know that I have a big collection that I'm going to, that I've been working on and negotiating, this is a way to get cash flow in order to fund other stuff in the business or in the hobby. If we need new tables, new chairs, HVAC goes out, all the things that happen when you own a business, having that cash flow is really good. Again, you are not Rudy. Rudy has a massive Patreon that comes in on income, and he doesn't have to think about that stuff. And so if you are only watching that kind of content and you're only thinking, oh man, sitting back and holding product forever, it's just not going to work because you don't have that Patreon, and I don't have that Patreon. And I do have a Discord server that you can join, and you can go to KitchenTableTCG.com to join that Discord server, and you can support the channel. But the cash flow that Rudy has is not the cash flow that I have, so I can't afford to sit on all the alpha cards. I have to sell them. I have to run my business in a responsible way because it's different. The other thing to consider is different states have different, tax laws, and inventory tax is a real thing. And so there's a way, there's ways to do that in different states or whatever. This is not a tax channel, but with different inventory taxes mean different things, which means that you can't sit on different products depending on where you are, or different amounts of products and that kind of thing. So again, it's very important looking through this business perspective to figure out what works for you and in your business. And so for me, I'm working on trying to grow the eBay side of our business because the local store is doing really good. The TCG player, we'll get into that in a second. But eBay is like my next step. So the second thing to note is that you can't control what comes into your business or into your store, particularly in this industry, in the trading card game and owning a local store. It's wild, the things that come in. This is a Neo Genesis portfolio folio thing, right? I can't control that this came into my store. I have to make a decision, do I buy this or not, right? And I wish that I could only have come into my store, Shocklands, Fetchlands, Charizards, base set Charizards. I wish that the only thing that came into my store or that was sold to me was the easy things to flip, the easy things to sell. But again, you can't control what comes in. And so you have to figure out different ways and know the values. So this is really important. Whenever something like this comes in, that's not as popular. This is actually really cool. This is the second gen starters, and there's a foil version of all the big ones. This is actually a really cool thing. These were shipped from Japan, I think, to the United States as a Neo Genesis promotional thing. This guy in West Virginia had an attic full of these, multiple of these, and 15 Neo Genesis packs and like 10 starter decks. Like you can't control what comes in. That was actually a really cool one. This is kind of a terrible example because it's such a cool one. But anyway, the point was you can't control what comes in. And so what I do is I look up sold listings on eBay, right? You can't control what comes in, but you can control what you pay for what comes in. And so I only look at sold listings on eBay. You could put a turd up on eBay for $3,000. That doesn't mean that your turds are worth $3,000, right? And so you have to look up sold listings. Use the website 130point.com. Make sure that you are buying things at a value that somebody else has already, said that they will buy it for, and that allows you to make sure you don't get ripped off. You need to remember, TCG Player is going to take that 50, or eBay is going to take about that 15%, whatever. So price that into what you are paying for the collection. You can't control what comes in. You can only control what you pay. That's super important. This also means that you have to buy things that you're not that excited about. You have to buy things that don't matter to you as much as it might matter to some random person over on eBay. And then you also have to do the work to sell it, right? Like you have to also, like, this is my problem. All this stuff has been piling up. I probably have, 15 grand worth of things sitting on this table that aren't listed on eBay because I've been lazy, because I haven't taken the time, because I've been doing other things in my life. And you can't control what comes in, but you can control how you handle it, when you list it, how much work you put into it. You can't control what comes in, but there's a lot of things that you can control. And your laziness is one of those things that you can control. And then the important thing is that you can't control what comes in, so you have to widen your market. Okay, this is very, very important. So many stores get caught up in this and get caught in only being a local store. I don't believe that can exist anymore. I don't believe that you can just do that. Maybe in LA, maybe in these bigger areas you can do that. These are some comics. I never buy comics. I actually have a rule in my life that I'm not allowed to buy comics, because then I'll start collecting comics. But I broke that rule because, man, these were freaking cool. These are so cool. I broke that rule because, again, you can't control what comes in. And even though I have a rule, I have to break that rule sometimes if the deals are there and if it makes sense for the business. So these came in. These are pretty sweet. But I have to widen my market for this, because there's no way I put these in our shelf at the shop. Nobody was even interested in them. Nobody in my market cares about them. So you have to widen your market. And this is why eBay is so important. This is why having an online presence is so important. This is why these things are so important, to put the time into all this stuff. We have we have a successful TCG player account that has been a huge part of our business since, even before I had the local store. I started off with that TCG player account. But now I need to widen my market, because you can't do this on TCG Player. It doesn't matter how successful our TCG Player account is. I have to migrate and grow into a larger eBay seller as well, because I have new things that you can't put up on TCG Player. And now I have been doing eBay for a long time. It just hasn't been a important part of my business until hopefully in the next couple of months I'm going to kind of more focus on that side of the business. So those three things I think really important, but here's the kicker, okay? Here's a big thing that you need to remember, is that you can do this. I know that I'm a business and that this is a businessy conversation, but you can also do this. There is no requirement to own a store or own an LLC or own a whatever in order to do eBay, in order to do TCG Player. Check this out. Look at that. PSA 10, Blastoise. I don't know. These are freaking cool. I love those cards. This is one of my favorite cards in the whole world. This is Dragonite. One of my favorite artworks. And then I got that at a Pokemon trade night a couple months ago. We do Pokemon trade nights at the shop, which is a great way for me to trade cards into different things, whatever. This is so freaking cool. Such a hot card. But you can do this, and you can get cards too. You can go on Facebook Marketplace. You can go on, go to, different trade areas, go to different opportunities to pick up cards, make Facebook posts, make Discord posts, reach out to people in your shop or in your community. You can do this too. You don't have to have a shop. You don't have to have a store. You just have to take the time. And all of this stuff, the whole point of this video is encouraging myself too, that you have to take the time and put in the work in order to sell this stuff. It's not just going to magically happen. You have to take the energy and take the time and put yourself out there. And Everybody stops at this point because they say, man, I don't have something. I don't have the skills. I don't know how to take pictures. I don't know how to, create an eBay account. You can figure out all this stuff. The internet has made it so easy to move and sell things. It is ridiculously easy to do. It just takes energy and it just takes time. So go do it. Be a part of this. It is so much fun. I have to say, it has been fun in my life to create this kind of whole channel and to create the whole store and the business. And it's fun to kind of test myself and say, hey, what's next? And so for me, picking up the impact on TCG Player or on eBay is going to be the next step for my business. I just got to put in the work and do it. But remember, you can do it as well. Those are my things. And let me know what you think in the comment section about this cash flow, about, having different markets and about all that stuff. I hope you have yourself a fantastic day. Remember to be kind to the people around you, and we'll see you again next video.